want you all to think. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Okay, let's go ahead and keep it moving. So we're going to answer these questions right now. And then again, if you have some questions, you'll put them in. We'll go over everything. So the first question is, what is the minimum safe following distance in good weather? In most situations, it's about 2 seconds, but we need more than 2 seconds to react and read what's going on. But I would say about 3 seconds. It depends on the density of the traffic. It depends on how fast you're going. It's a car length for every 10 miles an hour, but the bare minimum is 2 seconds. Next, how should you react when your vehicle begins to hydroplane? Number one, you want to ease off the gas and steer straight until you regain control of your car. If you panic, oversteer, understeer, hit the gas, hit the brake, you will spin off the road. You could flip your car. You could hit the wall. The worst case scenario, you just go into a ditch. The bad case scenario, you hit a car, you roll over. Another bad situation, if you're by an area with no guardrails, you could spin and go off into a really deep ditch or ravine. So you don't want to panic when your car is hydroplaning, but I'm talking to people with less than 10 years of experience. And as a result, you're going to panic and you're going to slam brakes or steer the car back and forth, and you're going to really lose control of the car. So if you lose control of your steering, you're literally done. What is the correct way to enter the highway from an on-ramp? You want to accelerate to match the speed, but as a beginner, you're not going to push the gas. You're going to be scared to accelerate. Trucks and cars will give you a small gap of space, but after that, they're going to push you off the side of the road. In my experience, I've had a handful of drivers who panic, and then we have to go off to the edge of the road. It's very scary because we miss the opportunity to merge. And if you did this on a road test, you're going to end up failing your test. And also it's very dangerous because drivers don't want to hit us, but they're very unforgiving if you don't pick up speed. You won't have the protection of a driver's education car and a driver's education sign on top. So you're really going to have to push the gas and go. But because you're scared, you will lock up and you won't push the gas. What does the solid yellow line on the side of the road indicate? This is a no passing zone, but people don't care. They're going to pass you if they're irritated by you. You're going too slow. You're not really paying attention. We have a very short attention span today in the time that we live in. People are very impatient. They don't care about you, your mom, me, anyone. They only want to get where they're going. So as a result, we have a group of drivers who just don't care, and they're going to put the general public in danger. And that's what we see a lot of, is the general public being put in danger. And this is why we have so many accidents today, even though cars are very safe. Next, what is the maximum speed on most rural highways? It is 70 miles an hour, but in our location in the Midwest, it is 75. But on that part of the interstate, you've got to drive at 75. If you don't, you got to get over to the right lane. Slower moving traffic stays in the right lane. You have to keep up with traffic. You've got to look ahead. Then you can have highway hypnosis. Number 6, how do you handle a four-way stop when two cars come together at the same time? A lot of you will be confused, beginning drivers. And again, I'm talking about you less than 10 years of experience. What happens after 10 years? You start to understand all the nuances, all the dangers, all the situations. You watch a lot of videos. You've seen a lot of accidents. You've seen videos on social media. You've talked to your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad. But until you have that 10 years of experience, you really don't know what to do at a four-way stop. Some people will go straight through. Some people will yield, but then go through. If you hesitate, you lose your competitive advantage. And that's what all of you would do. Remember, I'm talking about people with less than 10 years of experience. And all of you that I'm talking to have that. So each year you gain of driving experience, you get better and better and better. So it's really important that you listen to your mom, You listen to your dad. You listen to your coach. You listen to me and ask questions because I'm an instructor and I've seen the different patterns where people kind of roll the stop sign. They don't stop. They look left and right and just go. And if you're following the rules and you go through, you're going to get hit and then they're going to blame you. Number 7, what should you do if you are blindsided by oncoming headlights? You want to look to the right edge of the road. It's called the edge line or fog line. And with the edge line or fog line, your eyes can focus again because the light's out of your eyes. And our pupils will dilate, get smaller. And when your pupils get smaller, you can't see. And for a lot of you, you guys won't drive at night with me. You're going to drive at night with your parent, and they're not trained to help you. Honey, why are you going off the road? Mom, I don't know. I can't see all the headlight glare, and that's what you're going to have. Maddie's going to have headlight glare. She's eyeglass wearer. I'm going to speak in truth because I've driven adults and teens at night. It's pure fear. It's pure panic because you're literally blinded by the light. And if your windshield is dirty and your headlights are dirty, you're going to lose visibility. And if you're driving a car that's 5 years old, 7 years old, those headlights don't shine as brightly. So you're driving a car with dim headlights. And then you're a new driver, you could go off the road. It's a lot of fear that first night drive. And a lot of you will have that with your parents because based on my schedule, I won't be driving you at night. Not that I don't want to, but that's just the way the schedule is. And we're already into the fall. It gets dark very early. And then in the wintertime, it's going to be dark and cold. And many of you will be driving to school for your first time. And you're almost going to hit a mailbox. You're almost going to hit a car. Not because you're bad drivers, but because you can't see. And then your parents are going to be like, stop the car. I don't want to drive you because you scare me. You're like, Mom, Dad, I got to learn. Then you get into an argument. And if you get into an argument with your parents, it's a wrap. You're so disrespectful. Mom, I was just telling you I can't see, and you're arguing with me. So you see where this conversation will go, and you're going to lose every single time because your parents don't have the patience because they're trying to let you drive, but they got to go to downtown Detroit. They're trying to let you drive. They're going to got to go to downtown Houston, Texas. They're trying to let you drive. They have to go to Los Angeles, California. A drive that would take 10 minutes takes 20 minutes because you're driving slow. You can't see in your neighborhood. You're scared to make a right turn. You can't see the road. So you're going to be driving very slow. And then your parents are like, hurry up. And you're like, okay. And then you and your mom are fighting in a car. You and your dad are fighting in a car. And then you tell your friend, you're like, my mom did the same thing to me. My dad did the same thing to me. They don't mean to do that, but that's that fear in them trying to let you drive when it's dark outside and when you can't see. What is the correct procedure for merging onto the highway? Use your turn signal. A lot of you won't do that. A lot of you go too fast or too slow and then merge. If a big truck is coming, you don't know what to do. The truck can't change lanes. You go too slow. You might have to go off the side of the road. You might have to slide in behind the truck. Everyone freaks out and panics, even your driver's ed instructor, when semi-trucks come. Most semi-truck drivers are very chill, very relaxed, but it's a lot of pressure on them to get that load to where they need to go. They could make $5,000, $7,000, $9,000. They're not really worried about us, but they don't want to have an accident because now we have to call the state. Now we have to call the Federal Bureau of Transportation because there's a car accident, a car truck accident. So it is very, very serious when you're driving on the road with big trucks and you don't merge properly. Number 9, how should you adjust your driving in heavy fog? It depends on the fog. You want to reduce your speed. You don't want to have your high beams on, but a lot of you have never driven in fog. And you won't with me. The first time you're going to drive is with your mom and dad. And they're going to look at you like, girl, boy, what are you doing? You're going off the road. I can't see. Stay on the road. So you're going to have that argument again with your parents, and they're going to start doubting you. Not that they doubt you. Yes, they're going to doubt you. They're going to doubt you because you can't see in fog or you haven't learned how to see in fog. Mom and Dad, I've seen you drive before. Well, I've been driving 24 years. You stay to the right lane. You turn on your low beams. But if your parents don't talk to you, which a lot of you don't have that talk with your mom and dad, you're not going to know what to do. And then here again, mom has got 10 minutes to get to work. Dad's got 10 minutes to get to work. They want you to drive, but you drive slow down the street. You're hugging the right. You almost get hit by a car. You see where I'm going with this. So now your parents are like, you can't drive. And you say to yourself, I can drive, but you won't let me drive. So that's the situation you're going to have. What is the purpose of no passing zone when driving near large trucks? You cannot pass. And the context is driver's education. The context is difficult questions. Big trucks, they are moving. And sometimes they don't see you. And if they don't see you, they're going to hit you. So you have to assume the truck driver doesn't see you, is not aware of you. He or she is up 15 feet in the air looking straight ahead. You're in their blind spot to the right. You're in their blind spot to the left. It will be on the test. So you need to know what to do. You got to have a plan. Well, what if I'm not going fast enough? Well, you need to fall in behind them. What if I have an open space and I can go? You need to push the gas pedal and go. But if you hesitate, you're done. So you have to know what to do. Next, number 11, when can you legally pass a vehicle on the right? When the vehicle in front of you is turning left, when there's enough space. But a lot of you won't know what to do, and you could make an illegal pass and get a ticket, or you're not looking over your shoulder, or you're not paying attention right now as I talk, and you should be paying attention instead of doing something else. But that's who you are. And I'm giving you some really vital information for the next 10 years, but many of you are like, oh well. So you get in what you put into driver's education. You get in what you put into learning, because your parents won't go into the detail that I am. They're just going to say, get in the car and drive. And if you drive scary or nervous, they're going to look at you like, what's wrong? Nothing. And then they get more nervous. And then some of your parents will hurt your feelings. And they're going to pull you over to the side and say, I can't drive with you. Drive with your dad. Drive with your brother. And your brother barely has 10 years of experience. So you see where I'm going with this. So you guys are primed for failure through fear of your parents seeing you drive for the first 90 days. So you really need to be absorbing this and asking real questions and understanding what we're trying to do. And this gives you a broader scope of driving, of driver's education. Many of you are going to be like this for 10 years. If you're 14, it's 24. If you're 21, it's 31. If you're 17, it's 27. It takes 10 years to become a master, and none of you are masters yet. It takes time to learn your skill, learn your trade. So that's extremely important. What do you do? How do you handle a brake failure when driving downhill? You need to shift to a lower gear, downshift to 2 or 1. You could use your park brake. You want to control that motor, and your brakes may fail. Nothing is perfect. And you don't want to panic. You want to try to get as much speed out of the car as possible. Maybe go into the mud, go into the dirt, shift to a lower gear. You want to slow the speed down because you could crash into a car, go off the road. You want to pick the safest area. You don't want to hit something soft. 13, what is the appropriate speed limit for a school zone? It is usually 20 to 25, but this varies from state to state and state to province. Many of the school zones are monitored, radar monitored by cameras in cars because they know people speed there. And the most important thing is you, the kids. And if you're speeding through a school zone, you're guaranteed to kill someone. You're guaranteed to get a ticket because you deserve it. Because you're speeding through a school zone, and little kids don't understand the dangers of a car. They think it's an animal, think it's a toy. They see the big grill in the headlights and they freeze. So you really need to know what's going on. What should you do if you respond of being tailgated? You want to allow them to pass you and gradually slow down. Don't panic. Don't slam brakes because they think you're challenging them. Many of you will challenge them because this is where we are in 2024. You accept a challenge. If someone is not listening to you, get in their face. If someone is not listening to you, you speak louder. Cars are deadly weapons, 4,000, 6,000, 7,000 pound deadly weapons. And people don't care. The little old lady, the young teenager, the driver who's 25, the mom in the minivan, the dad in the ZR1 Camaro, the guy in the Trackhawk, the gentleman in the Tesla. People don't care. And they will drive off the road. They'll cut you off. They'll slam brakes because people are not patient. I keep telling you all of you this, and they just don't care. So how do you come and handle that? You become patient. You follow the rules. You stay to the right. Next, what should you do if your tire blows at a high speed? You want to hold the steering wheel lightly, avoid the brakes, and let the car slow down gradually. You never want to panic. If you panic, you're going to flip your car over. You're going to slam into a car. It's very easy to say, oh, well, you've been driving over. Yes, I have. Yes, I've had blowouts. It's scary. You lift your foot, you steer, you hold on for your life, and you pray you don't hit a wall or go into the ditch. Super important. What should you, okay. What are the consequences for running a red light? Fines, points, or death. And if you do this as you are braiding someone's hair, then you don't deserve to be here. I removed Maddie. She was braiding someone's hair during class. So I'm just letting you know this is serious. If you're not going to pay attention, don't even be here. Real talk. So if braiding someone's hair is more important or playing or goofing off, this day won't count. I take what I'm doing very seriously, and I think you're getting a perspective for 10 years. And that's going to give you a good perspective. Your parents are going to set the foundation. If your parents don't really care about you driving your first or second or third year, you're going to be more scary, more nervous, run lights, kind of skittish. So I really need you to think deep. I really need you to understand this journey that I'm trying to take you on, because it's going to make you a good driver. And these micro stories, as we go through this, will definitely help you. So you don't want to panic. And if you do panic, you're going to end up losing control, going off the road, and running a red light. You see a lot of drivers do it. Try not to learn that behavior, because if you learn that behavior running red lights, first you're scared, then you're nervous, then it becomes nothing. And if you become desensitized to dangerous situations, you're going to kill someone. And then you have no remorse. So if you're driving with me and you run a light, we won't drive. I'll say it again, Justice, or James, or Michael. If you drive with me and you run a red light, I'm not going to drive you anymore. I'm not putting my life into someone who doesn't understand the danger. So I'm just letting you know how serious it is. And you're not going to put my life into someone's hands. Hold on, Josh. Let me go through this. Just hold on. So obviously, we teach you to, if you can stop in 3 seconds safely at a yellow light without slamming brakes, you do that. There's a difference between a yellow light and then blatantly going through a red light. We can't take chances like that. Your driver's instructor will never put you in situations where you've got to speed or you have to run a light or you have to go off the road. There are always various situations, but your instructor, he or she is trained to look ahead to see, okay, this is going to be a dangerous intersection. I'm going to tell my student, I need you to slow down. I need you to increase your following distance. You might not understand why the instructor's doing that, but they're doing that to save your life. Your parents may say nothing and you ran a light. Your parents may say, bruh, you ran a light. Woo! Or bro, the police are coming. You ran a light. you get the ticket. You do this on your road test, it's automatic failure. So understand the seriousness of how your instructor should be teaching you. We should never be in danger. We should always be in control of the car to teach you those good habits. So when 10 years come, you're like, the light's yellow. I'm slowing down. Thank God I did. That truck ran the light, or those two cars ran the light, or the kid on the bike, as soon as the light turned yellow, he started going. And you'll see your life flash between your face when a kid or a car runs their light and you almost ran your light, or you see the police and you're like, man, thank God I didn't run that light. Real talk. So that's extremely important. What should you do if your car misses on an expressway? Great test question. Your car misses, you want to continue to the next exit. Misses means your car stopped running. You never want to panic. Get us over all the way to the right. Cars do cut off. New 2024s, 2025s, 2017s, 2010s. Any new or old car could cut off. You get bad gas. Your car doesn't run right. There's water in the gas. It doesn't run right. Or you get the old stale gas at the end of 30 days. Gas stations get gas every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks. If you have to get gas and your pump is pumping the gas really slow, you probably have the gas at the bottom of the fiberglass barrel in the ground. It may have some sediment in there. You might get a little grit. So you got to know your car. But if you don't drive enough, you don't know your car. You don't know your parents' car. You might get in a couple times, but you don't know the gas pedal. You don't know the brake pedal. So it takes time, but your parents have got to give you time. That's really important. How should you handle aggressive drivers? You need to stay calm, don't engage, and let them pass. Road rage is very common today. What are the keys to take the step to park on a hill? If you're parking downhill, you turn your front wheels toward the hill, you pull up your park brake. If you're parking uphill, you turn your front tires away from the hill, you pull up your park brake. Why? If the car slips out of gear and you're downhill, the car will roll into the curb or hill. If your car is parked uphill and the car slips out of gear, the car will roll backwards in a complete circle. Very common question. You need to know when to use that park brake because your car could come out of gear at any given time, and it does happen. So you really have to be safe. And what you need to do. Next, what is the correct lane position when making a left turn at an intersection? The correct lane position is to enter the intersection when it's clear and keep your front wheel straight. If you get hit, you'll be pushed forward. That's fine. If your wheels are turned to the left, you get hit, you'll be pushed into oncoming traffic. The reason this driver's education instructor's never been hit or killed at an intersection, I make sure it's clear. I don't put that pressure on you. You could hit the brake instead of the gas. That's what beginners do. The car could cut off. You might hit reverse. The light might change. So I don't cut our window of time very short because I'm driving beginners. If you have 10 years, you're like, man, I can make it. But you still could get hit and make an illegal left turn. So you always want to give yourself time. Left turns are the most dangerous. When must you yield the right of way to an emergency vehicle? Pull over to the side of the road, give them the right of way. They have a right to circumvent traffic. This means they can drive on the left, they can drive on the right, they can drive on the side. But you still need to just pull over to the side and allow them to do their thing. How do you handle a skid on icy roads, which you will see very soon? Steer in the direction you want to go. Avoid making sudden stops. A lot of you will panic. Don't panic. What should you do when you're approaching a railroad crossing with no signs or signals? Slow down, look both ways. That's why on your road test, you have to look left and right over a railroad crossing. School buses have to stop. Hazardous materials, semi-truck carriers have to stop. It's law. So you got to always be aware of what's going on. What's the correct way to use your horn? Only to avoid immediate danger. But a lot of drivers will They don't care. They startle you. They look silly. You look silly. Now you're fighting. They're chasing you. You're chasing them. You want to be balanced. Always try to be balanced until you understand 7, 8, 9, year 10 of driving. Year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, they're the most dangerous. You don't have any experience to draw on. You won't be with your mom and dad. You're going to be 19 on the road, traveling to the Mall of America, traveling to Cedar Point, traveling up to Canada. So you will be traveling more, but they're more dangerous. And when you don't have experience, it becomes even more dangerous. I didn't say you couldn't drive. I just say you don't have experience. Next, what is the correct way to navigate a roundabout? You want to yield to traffic already in the roundabout. You might see it on the test. A lot of beginners panic. If you miss your turn, then you have to wait for the whole sequence. Cars to come in, cars to go out. If you do this on your road test, you could fail. You could get deductions. We've all seen the UK videos. Here we are going into a roundabout. We must yield to traffic already in. We know this. There are roundabouts in the United States. This is nothing new. All of you will be going on roundabouts. Next, how should you handle a pedestrian crossing the road in an unmarked crosswalk? You want to yield to the pedestrian and stop if necessary. Pedestrians have a right to that intersection, even if it's unmarked. Pedestrians should be walking against traffic. Bike riders should be riding with the flow of the traffic. But you see bike riders going against the traffic. You see walkers walking with the flow of the traffic. Both are dangerous. What is the recommended course of action if your car stalls on a railroad track? Get out of the car and run. Trains give you an optical illusion. They look further away than they actually are. So a lot of people try to beat their train and they end up dying. Every now and then you do hear about those stories. The train always has the right of way. Always. Next, what is the safest method for backing up your vehicle? Turn your body and look. But a lot of you, hey, I have a backup camera, so I have big mirrors, so you need to look over your shoulder and look out the back window. You just hit the neighbor's car across the street when you backed up. You just ran over the little girl on her bike because you thought you could see in your backup camera. Look over your shoulder, turn your body, look in the direction, back up slow. What should you do if your car stalls or overheats while driving? You want to turn on the air conditioning. Pull over. This will let the cold air or the heater, turn on the heater, turn off the air conditioning because that puts strain on the motor. Turn on the heat. The hot coolant will go through the heater core and the fan will blow that hot air into your cabin, cooling off the motor. If you don't, you're going to blow up the motor. Then your dad's going to say, honey, the temperature was at 285 degrees. All you had to do was pull over. I don't know this stuff, Dad. You never taught me. Well, you just blowed up your dad's $35,000 diesel engine. Your dad loves you, but he's not happy. So the ignorance is no excuse. You have to know these things. I've driven drivers who had cars that have overheated. It's very scary. We turn on the heat. It goes down. We keep driving because you're trying to get back to the driving school. We're trying to get back to the school. We're trying to get you to your parents' house. And then I'll deal with the broken driver's head car, which I have many times. And that's what you guys don't know. The backstory behind when the car breaks down, what do drivers and instructors really do? We call the office. We call the towing company. I'm stuck in a car for an hour. I had to have a family member come get me. But your safety comes first. So that's really important that you understand that. What is the significance of a flashing red light? A lot of you don't know what that is. The significance is you need to stop and look and check. Stop, proceed when it's safe. How do you safely navigate through construction zones? Slow down, follow the signs, be cautious for workers. Workers always have the right of way. What should you do when your brakes lock up during an emergency stop? Good question. Pump the brakes. Gently apply pressure if you have ABS. If your brakes lock up, you're going to slide off the road. How you determine if it's a safe to lane change on a busy expressway? Check your mirrors. Do a shoulder check. What should you do if your vehicle starts to fishtail on wet roads? Steer into the direction you want to go. Ease off the accelerator. How do you determine if it's safe to change lanes on a busy, hold on, I already did that. Okay, next, what should you do if you see a vehicle traveling the wrong way on the highway, which we see more and more? Slow down, move to the right, notify the authorities. What are the penalties for driving under the influence? You're going to get fines, your license is going to be suspended, and possible jail time. I need all of you to type in what you learned in a question. All of you type in what you learned in a question. We have a half an hour. We're going to go over all the questions. Type in what you learned in a question. We went over a lot of information, and it's about learning. Learning is the most important thing that you can get. A lot of driving instructors don't go into the detail that I go in. A lot of instructors don't take you in the perspective of 10 years. If you're watching this, you are a person who has probably less than 10 years of experience, or you say, man, this guy's really making me think. The goal is to make you think. The goal is for you to have value. And if you have value, you'll subscribe, every time I go live, you'll look at all my videos, and then the algorithm will push out videos for you that they think you like. But I go into an in-depth discussion with analyzing with the unbiased perspective to make you a good driver, because that's what the goal is. How good can you get? What do you do in fog? What do you do if your car shuts down? What do you do if you're driving in Houston, Texas, and it's mad crazy traffic? I've been there. What do you do in Detroit, Michigan on the Lodge Freeway and your car shuts down? You're behind a 5.0 Mustang and a Corvette racing. What do you do? What do you do if you're merging out and your headlights cut off and a semi truck is coming? There's so many different variables, and your parents will take you through these situations, but you really need to listen to your parents, and you really need to listen to me.